Alright guys, just saying here, back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And in today's video, we're going to be checking out the STR Banner Unit Piccolo. Now, I really wanted to get a showcase on this guy, because this is just one of the best units in the game, right? I mean, his utility overall is really crazy. I mean, defensively, he's going to look amazing. Offensively, he's going to look really good. And he's a support. So just overall, a really crazy unit. You know, he's on a lot of these weaker teams, too, that really need the help. I mean, you know, stuff like Namekians, Worthy Rivals, Battle of Wits, Bond of Master and Disciple, Connected Hope, just all those categories aren't really the greatest. So having a unit like this on it definitely do benefit them a lot. And, you know, him being a support, too, and just a crazy defensive unit just makes it to where on any team, this guy's going to be a really good addition, mainly because of support, of course. But before we get into the video, if you find yourself enjoying it at any point, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, keep in mind there are timestamps in the video, so if you want to skip around to any part, then absolutely feel free to do that. And yeah, let's get right into it. So on this opening rotation, we do have him next to Orange Piccolo, which is pretty much his best linking partner. I mean, them as a rotation is just going to destroy everything, right? I mean, they're really crazy units, both of them, so definitely a good rotation. We got some support from the PyCon, and we're at 229k defense. Okay. So that's not the craziest start of turn defensive stat, right? By itself, I mean, that definitely is kind of low. But there's a lot to consider with this guy. I mean, of course, you know, he gets, like, defense on super. He has guard. He gets a lot of attack and defense when he receives an attack. So there's a lot to it. But at 3.3 million attack stat, you know, that's not good. But he does get a crit, a medium chance to crit, for 3 turns after he receives an attack. So if we receive an attack, then you'll see his damage increase a lot for the next 3 turns. Because, of course, you can get the crit off. And you get some extra attack and defense. So that's really when his damage is going to start looking good. But to be more specific about, you know, everything he has going on. So he has guaranteed guard, which is really crazy, right? I mean, just guaranteed guard against every attack is really rare. I think the last unit I can think of that had that, well, I guess the Banner unit Rage Vegeta had that, but he only had that when he transforms. And he can only transform, like, you know, turn 5, 6. So he doesn't just have guaranteed guard, like, from the start of the fight. But they just stopped doing that with units, right? I mean, they usually have some sort of restriction behind it, whether it's like a high chance to guard or, you know, your HP has to be above 50% or something like that. But no, this Piccolo just has guaranteed guard, which is really useful because then obviously in any situation, you know, you've got the guard, which guard is crazy. I don't need to explain that. And then this guy gets an additional 50% attack and defense and then a medium chance to crit for 3 turns after he receives an attack. So that's what I was talking about. You know, he gets the extra attack and defense and then a medium chance to crit. I mean, the medium chance to crit is good, right? I wish maybe that would have been a medium chance to do an additional super, because he does get defense on super, so then, you know, if he got additionals right there, then he could have triple supered, but maybe that would have made him, like, a little too OP, so I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, right here, we're going to be looking a lot better. So we're at 369k defense, which is really crazy, because, you know, again, we have guard, we get 30% attack and defense on super. So we're going to be well over 400k defense with guard, and we also have 30% damage reduction. Or I guess right here we have 15% damage reduction, but he does get an additional 15% damage reduction per Movie Heroes category ally on the turn after you receive an attack. So we do have the Orange Piccolo on rotation with him, of course, so that means we are going to have 15% damage reduction. But then if we had another Movie Heroes category ally, would have been 30%. And the damage reduction isn't necessary to make this guy good, but it definitely does help. If you're going to want to survive, like, supers from these really hard-hitting enemies like Cell Max, Metal Cooler Core, you know, Red Zone Broly, then you're probably going to need that damage reduction activated, which isn't really that big of a deal, because most of the, you know, team builds with this guy and stuff like that, you are going to have some Movie Hero category allies on the team, just because Movie Heroes dominate the game right now, right? I mean, that category is just insane. So that definitely isn't a bad thing. I mean, you're going to have that damage reduction activated most of the time. And then between the damage reduction, the guard, all the attack and defense, it just gets pretty crazy, right? So definitely really useful there. And then his support is that he gives superclass allies 2 ki, 30% defense, and then an additional 30% attack when you're facing an extreme class enemy. So the ki is really useful, right? Just some ki that makes it to where everyone works together better. And then the 30% defense is really good. Just so 2 ki and 30% defense for superclass allies, just completely unrestricted. So that obviously is really useful. That just makes it to where everyone will look a little bit better defensively. And then the extra 30% attack being restricted behind facing an extreme class enemy isn't really that bad, actually, because most of the events in the game right now that are somewhat difficult, there's an extreme class enemy. I think the only red zone stage where there's a super class enemy is the Gammas, I'm pretty sure. So, of course, that's not really that big of a deal or, anything like that. It's still really useful, and most of the time you're going to see the 2 key and 30% attack and defense support activated. But, alright, right here, the extra attack and defense for 3 turns did wear off, so obviously our defensive stat did drop just a bit. But, okay, I'm going to have to throw him in slot 2, actually. Or wait, no. I guess as long as I get Piccon support, I'm fine. Right, because Piccon gives some key when he collects the key spheres and some extra attack and defense. So, yeah, we're going to get a super, and we're going to receive an attack before we super. So, we should be looking pretty good right here. Okay, we're getting supered. I think he debuffs us right here. I hate that they do that, man. It's just a pain running them in here. Whatever. Anyway, basically a 5 million attack stat with a 30% chance to crit. I mean, that's pretty good, considering this guy is at, well, okay, we got the double super. So this guy right here is at like 500k defense with guard, and we've got 30% damage reduction right here, and we're supporting, and we got the crit on that second super, so it's just very good, right? It definitely starts to get crazy pretty quickly with this guy. So just overall really useful, right? I mean, the team setups with this guy too are just insane, like I was saying. I mean, you run him with a Movie Heroes team, and there's not any event that could really stop that team, right? Because then you've got stuff like Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, you've got Bird Coup, and just so many crazy options. And then you've got this Piccolo on there supporting them all. And especially if you're running him next to Orange Piccolo, who he links up well with, then, dude, it's just destruction. So, I mean, I think this guy's the best banner unit. I know a couple people are going to disagree with me on that, and that's fine. I'm heavily biased. I like Piccolo as a character, so, of course I'd like his banner unit. But, I mean, I'm not far off. He's definitely top 5 banner units, probably top 3. But I don't know, between like Rage Vegeta now, and then the STR Krillin, and then the physical TN, I mean, ban units have been getting good, right? And I love that they do that. They're starting to make ban units a lot better, and that's a really good thing. I mean, because, I don't know, Dokkan kind of went through a weird phase with ban units where, like, they were just kind of mid, right? I mean, there was the Trunks and Giru. They were definitely really bad. And then, there was the STR Trunks and Goten. So just for a while, like, during the beginning of the 200% meta, these ban units really just weren't that good. But then we got, like, the AGL Android 8, and then we obviously got this STR Piccolo. We got, like, the Tech Yajirobe, and then now we're starting to get these new ban units, and they're just all really, really good. Because I think Dokkan kind of found the formula for ban units. I mean, it's really simple. Just make them really good defensively, and then give them a little bit of support. And then bam, like, they're going to be really useful. I mean, because that's kind of the same thing all these ban units do, outside of maybe, like, TN and like Rage Vegeta, who obviously have a fair amount of damage built in their kit. But I mean, obviously they're defensively built as well, right? I mean, they got support, and they're very heavily defensive designed. So anyway, right here, 200k defense. Of course, we don't have the extra 30% attack and defense buff. So after we get that, we'll be looking really good. Or wait, no, we do have it. We just got defensive debuff. So that's why our defense was a little bit lower right there. But I mean, regardless, he's looking really crazy. I mean, not much else to talk about. He doesn't really build up or anything, so we'll probably just do the nuke test on the next rotation, and then we'll call it in here. And I guess we can bring him versus Metal Cooler Core. I mean, he has type advantage in there, so... Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's bring him versus Broly, because he has type disadvantage. I mean, I know he has the guard, so it doesn't really matter, but still, I mean, it'll look cooler if a STR unit is taking less than 100k from an AGL super, because then, it's type disadvantage and he's still tanking it. So, anyway, though, he does get an additional 50% attack and defense when facing one enemy, which is obviously majority of the game. You're only facing one enemy. But then the off chance you are facing 2 enemies, he gets an additional 100% defense. So, of course, that means his defensive stat is going to increase just a bit. And then this guy does also get a guaranteed seal on his super attack effect, right? So between that and then the extra defense when you're facing 2 or more enemies, he'd be pretty useful in Super Battle Room. You could definitely get away with it. Because, I mean, again, between his defensive capabilities and then even more defense because you're going to be facing 2 or more enemies, and then the seal on his super attack effect, you could definitely make some pretty good use of him in Super Battle Road. But, okay, right here, Piccon probably is not going to kill. So then we'll nuke on this next turn. Did I bring nuking items, actually? Alright, so it turns out I did not, in fact, bring the nuking items, but it's alright. We got a good rotation right here. We're going to get 18 key spheres with him. So, of course, we're going to be looking really good with that. We did use the nuking items because my dumbass didn't forget them this time. And then we'll pop the World Tournament Announcer item. So yeah, we should be looking pretty good as long as Piccolo doesn't kill in slot 1, which is definitely possible. I mean, if this guy crits right here and does an additional crit, he definitely could kill. Well, 5.7, actually, he might not. But, you know, we got a good rotation. We're going to have a lot of links active because we got him next to Orange Piccolo. We are going to have the additional 50% attack and defense because, of course, we get it for 3 turns, and I already got the, you know, I received an attack with him on the previous turn, so. All right, at 10 million attack stat, all right, I mean, that's not really crazy as far as a nuke test goes. I mean, I'm going to be honest, that definitely is kind of low, but we got the additional right there, and this has a 30% chance to crit, so, I mean, this actually did look pretty good in terms of damage because we did 2 of them, and, of course, we had a 30% chance to crit on both of them, but, you know, he's not an offensive unit. I mean, he can do good damage, but it's only really good considering his defense and support. It's not, like, just crazy on its own, right? But nonetheless, I mean, you know, all right nuke test, solid damage, and defensively, just crazy, right? Amazing defense. So, with all that shown, let's go and cut to the red zone test. Thinking about bringing him versus red zone Broly. Alright, so we're here fighting red zone Broly, and we have a really good setup for him right here. We obviously have him linked with Orange Piccolo. We got some support from the Carnival LR Goku. And start of turn, we're at 400k defense. So, I mean, you know, we're looking really good right here. I think we could easily survive a super from red zone Broly. We do have a full Movie Heroes team. So we are going to have the 30% damage reduction activated. And I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier in the video, right? Movie Heroes is just a very good team. I mean, look at this. This is like the best team in the game right now. I mean, dude, I don't think anything is touching this. So, I mean, let's see how much he's taken. We did receive 1 attack, so we have the damage reduction activated now. Keep in mind, this is before we super. So we're missing out on 30% attack and defense from this, you know, the super attack right here. We're taking 217k. Alright, so that's a little more than I expected, I'll admit. That definitely is a bit. But, if we got our super off first, I think we probably would have been about around 100k damage from that super, right? So, I mean, that's definitely really good, considering he didn't get a super off. And then if you build him full additionals, then, of course, you know, you get the double super. Or, if you give him some additionals, right, he can get the double super. And then, you would easily tank under 100k. Which, speaking of that, I think additionals and dodge is probably the way to go. I don't think going full additionals is probably the smartest idea. I think giving him some dodge is smart, just because, of course, I mean, you know, he's a defensive unit, right? I mean, his damage can look good, but as I said earlier in the video, his damage is only good considering his defense. So, I think definitely going full, or not full, but like half dodge, half additionals is pretty smart. You should not give this guy any crits whatsoever. He's STR, so he already has base 5 crit. And then, as we talked about in the video, he does get the 30% chance to crit for 3 turns after you receive an attack. So he's already got enough crits in his kit. You don't got to worry about giving him any more in the hidden potential system. I think just giving him some, you know, additionals and dodge is definitely the way to go. But then again, right, giving him dodge could kind of affect him because he needs to take an attack to obviously get the additional 50% attack and defense, and then to receive the damage reduction. So, I mean, I wouldn't go too crazy on the dodge, is what I'm trying to say, right? Because, I mean, you need to receive attacks with him to look, you know, as good as possible, right? But, alright, hopefully the Gammas don't kill right here. They definitely could. I know Broly still has a lot of health, but, you know, don't underestimate Gamma 1 and 2. They can cook. I mean, dude, they're crazy, right? They're just insane. I mean, Gamma 2 right here, yeah, 10.3. And he can do 2 more. So, if both of these crit right here, Broly is probably dead. But I think we're fine because my crit luck isn't really that great. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're fine. So, okay, then on this next rotation, we'll hopefully tank a super. I got a scouter activated so we can see when Broly is supering us. So we can put the Piccolo in that slot. And then we can be looking good. So, how are we looking? Okay, he's supering us in slot 2. So, I guess I'll just put Piccolo in slot 1. I don't want to kill, but I don't think Piccolo will kill. Yeah, he's not even fully built up, so we should be fine. And then, yeah, Piccolo should be able to tank the super. This is after he super attacks, so he might be looking a little bit better from this. And then also, he doesn't have his extra 50% attack and defense, but he's going to receive an attack before he takes a super. So we'll be able to see him, you know, at his full defensive capabilities, I guess. But we don't have any support, so also keep that in mind. But, okay, Orange Piccolo doing a bit of damage, but, you know, he's not going to kill. Okay, yeah, so that's definitely good. A 3.6 million attack stat. Yeah, I mean, that's alright. Because we don't have the crit right here. Obviously, we're missing out on the 50% attack and defense. So there's a lot from his kit we don't have. But alright, how much are we taking from the super? This is after we supered. Unfortunately, we didn't get the double super, so this is very realistic, right? I mean, you know, because if you have him 55%, you're not going to get an additional. He doesn't have any built in. And we are taking 115k. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's really good. 115k from a super from Red Zone Broly is pretty crazy because we don't have any support right here, right? No support at all. That's just the STR Piccolo's just raw tanking, right? And on the Movie Heroes team, there are some pretty crazy support units, so you definitely could have a lot of support with him. I mean, you have this guy who supports for 50% defense. You've got the Gammas who both support, so I don't know. He could look a lot better than that if you had a support unit, and definitely, I mean, that's very likely because there's a lot of crazy Movie Hero support units. But anyway, with all that shown, let's go and cut to the unit breakdown. I think he definitely performed very well in Red Zone Broly, so overall, pretty impressed. Alright, so here we have the banner unit Piccolo. So starting off with his leader skill, it is Movie Heroes category Ki +3, HP attack and defense plus 130%. Not the best lead, but maybe for newer players or free-to-play players, you'll be able to make use out of this 130% because as we've said multiple times, Movie Heroes is a very good category. And then his super attack effect is that he raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage, and then seals super attack. So the attack and defense is nice, and then the seal is pretty good as well, makes him useful in Super Battle Road. And then his passive is he gets Ki +1. So I didn't mention this in the video, but 1 Ki is good. Kind of weird, it's just 1 Ki, but it's still useful, right? I mean, Ki on TURs is definitely very good. He gets attack and defense plus 200%. He gets guaranteed guard against all attacks. He gets an additional attack and defense plus 50%, and then a medium chance to perform a crit for 3 turns after he receives an attack. He gets an additional damage reduction of 15% per Movie Heroes category ally self-excluded attacking in the same turn when guard is activated. And then he gives superclass allies 2 Ki, 30% defense, and then he gives them an additional 30% attack when you're facing an extreme class enemy. And then he gets 50% attack and defense when facing 1 enemy, and then 100% defense when facing 2 enemies. And then this guy's links are Brainiacs, Prodigies, Experienced Fighters, Solid Support, Namekians, Gaze of Respect, and then Fierce Battle. So a pretty good link set considering who you're running him with, right? A lot of other Piccolos, you know, maybe some Gohans. So, I mean, definitely a good link set. And then his categories are Movie Heroes, Namekians, Worthy Rivals, Bond of Master and Disciple, Battle of Wits, Connected Hope, Gifted Warriors, Fused Fighters, and then Warriors to Raise on Earth. So, alright, that is the band unit Piccolo. Let me know what you guys are thinking of this guy down in the comments. And also, let me know who you think is the best band unit. I know I mentioned in the video I think this guy is the best band unit. But again, I know a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with that. So let me know in the comments who you think is the best band unit. And let me know why. And yeah, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.